if Washington gets its way, all United Nations sanctions on Iran lifted under the 2015 nuclear deal would be restored in 30 days. And that's what U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had hoped to achieve with his visit to the UN Thursday afternoon to deliver a letter to the President of the Security Council requesting the so-called snapback mechanism.
These restored sanctions will also reimpose accountability for other forms of Iranian malign activity that the authors of the nuclear deal foolishly downplayed. Iran will again be prohibited from ballistic missile testing. Iran will be back under sanctions for ongoing nuclear activities such as the enrichment of nuclear material that could be applied to a nuclear weapons program.
But the question is whether the U.S. even has the right to trigger a return of UN sanctions, since it already withdrew from the nuclear deal back in 2018. Now, this has been the primary contention among other signatories of the deal, who have been desperately trying to preserve what's left of the agreement since the U.S. pullout. China and Russia have questioned the legal standing of the U.S., as has Europe, with the European Union's foreign policy chief having said that the U.S. is no longer entitled to reinstate sanctions. And right after Pompeo submitted the letter to trigger the snapback, America's European allies on the Security Council, Britain, France, and Germany, who are also signatories to the Iran nuclear deal, immediately rejected the move in a joint statement to the press. Now, they said that while they have concerns about an arms embargo about to expire in October, they still stand committed to the Iran nuclear agreement and cannot support the U.S. position. In remarks to reporters, Pompeo defended the U.S. right to trigger the sanctions snapback, citing vague language in the Security Council resolution that authorized the deal. Iran's ambassador, Majid Ravanchi, slammed Pompeo and called the U.S. move an arbitrary interpretation of the Security Council resolution, and also Pompeo's letter as inadmissible without legal standing and null and void.
The U.S. move is a clear example of abusing the process, which is prohibited under international law. This is nothing but a legal and political bully.
Now, the problem is there is no official way to determine which interpretation is the right one, which is why diplomats are bracing themselves for a major fight to play out at the Security Council over the next 30 days, with most of them trying to preserve the nuclear agreement. Liling Tan, CGTN, New York.